Inner Circle members, in today's lesson I'm going to show you how to create this raw edge applique greeting card using your fabric scraps and some cardstock. You'll find the artwork in your materials section in your classroom below. If you're watching on YouTube and want to know more about the EL Digitizer, click in the link on the description to find out more. Come on, let's get started. Hey, before we get started on our design, I want to have you make a couple changes to your design screen. Whenever you open up ELD or you create a new design page, it will always come in at the cotton recipe default. But for this raw edge applique card, we're stitching on cardstock, so I want to change the recipe to no recipe, which will eliminate all of the underlay. When you click change recipe, canvas pops up. This is not a default. It just happens to be the top of the alphabetical list of the recipes inside ELD. So just scroll down until you see no recipe. I'll say OK, and notice how it changes right down here at the bottom. We're also going to come up and turn off the Smart Join tool. And the reason for this is the Smart Join tool does create additional pathing to connect different shapes while you're digitizing. We don't want any additional pathing because we don't want any unnecessary stitches to perforate our cardstock. So now we're all set to bring in our backdrop, and so you'll load it as you have with all the other lessons. You'll navigate to where you have the birthday card stored on your computer. You'll say open. You'll then come back and you'll select the backdrop, right click, and click properties. The properties docker will come up, and the backdrop is already set at 110 by 140 millimeters. If you happen to be in inches, it will be 4.33 and 5.51 inches. The reason I have it at this size is because this is standard A6 cardstock that you can find in any craft store that you go to find stationery or different cardstock for like scrapbooking. We'll come in, and I'm going to first go back to millimeters now. I'm going to come in and I'll also lower the opacity. Now we're ready to begin our design. The first thing we need to do is create a placement stitch for the cardstock. This will be the only time in the design where we're creating a placement stitch, because we'll stitch this on our hoop and we will lay down the cardstock on top of it. The rest of our design just consists of a tack down stitch. We don't want any unnecessary stitching from a placement stitch. So I'll explain more as we go along. So let's come over here and select the run brush and the fast draw tool right here. And we'll start by making a left click, and with Build 2065, when you hold down your shift key, you can make perfect horizontal and vertical lines, or you can have angled lines at 15-degree increments. So this is really handy for creating nice, clean rectangles and squares. So I'll do another left click, and we'll come right down here and left click and press enter. So this is our placement line for our cardstock. And if you watch my prior applique lesson, I like to be consistent whenever I do placement and tack down. So I'm just going to put this as pink as I had before. And this is at 2.5 millimeters, which is a fine length for doing cardstock. So next we will select a new color. And for appliques, the same principle applies. You're going to want to work from the back forward. So we'll do this little placemat first, and we will use the run brush again with the fast draw tool, and grab that real quick. So we'll start right here. So we'll left click, hold the shift key down. We'll just drag straight over, left click, straight up, left click, straight across, left click, and straight down, and press enter. For this one, we will change this to a bean stitch. This is going to be the first piece of fabric you're going to lay on top of the cardstock and tack it down. So let's change the bean stitch to 4 millimeters, and we'll select the bean stitch right here, and 3 repeats is fine. So this is the first applique that's going down. So this will stitch, you'll lay your fabric down, you'll stitch the bean stitch, and then you'll use your scissors to carefully trim close to the edge of the stitching. Now let's come in and create the cupcake wrapper. Just move these out of the way. We will grab a new color, and for you that have single needle machines, the color change will stop your machine, so that will tell you it's time to lay your fabric down. So we will come back to the run brush, and we'll do the fast draw, and I'm going to left click. Now I'm going to do a little right click for this curve. I'll do a left click, and then we're going to go up, left click, down, left click. So we're going to create a double pass of thread. So I'm going to left click, straight up, straight down, left click, straight up, straight down. Do a little right click with that curve, left click on that corner, left click the top, and then we're just going to follow our path right back around. And we can adjust the nodes if we need to. We'll come straight up to this one, and we'll just go straight across right there. I will press enter. And let's just double check to see if we need to adjust any nodes. We kind of want the stitching on top of each other. And raw edge applique, it's not perfect and precise, and that's what gives it its special character when you trim it away. These are very fast, quick cards to make, as you'll soon discover when you're stitching them out. So we'll now move on to our first dollop of icing. So we'll just pick a purple right here. We'll stick with the run brush, and we're going to start right here in the center. Left click. Now we'll just make a series of right clicks. Right click, we'll do a left click to get up in that high corner. Right click, left click, and then we can come back and adjust any nodes real quick. We'll do a left click, and we'll do a left click. I'll press enter, and let me select that, and that's A on your keyboard. So if you want to make any changes to your nodes, you press Q or come up under here under path edit, and this is like we did for making the scallops on our last applique design, so very similar. But unlike the cupcake wrapper where we went around two areas twice, this will just simply use the double run stitch. So I'm going to move this to a double run. Let's just change that to 3 millimeters. And we'll say OK. So we've got this next applique. Let's move on to the next dollop of icing. Same thing. We're going to use that fast draw tool. Let's pick a new color. I'll just pick green right here. We'll start at the top, and we'll just do a series of right clicks around until we get to that sharp corner. Some right clicks. And the raw edge applique is great if you want to use the free draw tool and you just sketch over this twice. That works really well too. That creates a nice cute design. I'm going to check my nodes, see if I want to make any adjustments. And this all looks good. And for this, I'm going to also, let's reselect it. I'm going to also make that, just want to select it versus path edit. We'll just go back here and we'll change that to 3 stitch length, and we'll do a double run on this. And so that one's set. Now we're moving on to the cherry on top. So for that, let's grab the circle tool. Let's grab red, and we'll just left click and drag the circles right across. And for this, let's just change this one to a bean stitch. We'll do 3 millimeters. And we'll have 3 passes of thread. Now we've got the stem. So instead of using a run stitch, let's use the steel brush. So we'll have a little satin stem. So I'm going to pick that. Let's just pick black. I'm going to left click forgot to pick my tool. Use the fast draw. I'm going to left click, right click, left click, press enter. And the steel stitch comes on the screen. The default density on the steel is 0.4. We want to loosen this up because this is fairly close together, and when it stitches, it might perforate the card. So let's move this up to a 0.8. So the larger the number, the looser the density, meaning the stitches are further apart. So if I went from a 0.4 to 0.2, it would make those stitches closer together. So I just want to explain how we do that. You can't create a birthday card without happy birthday written on it. So let's grab the text tool right here and say add text. We're using build 2065 right now, and this is how the text feature works. The default text comes in on the screen, and I'm going to select the properties docker. There are over 200 texts or 200 different fonts that are in ELD. And if we come down here, I'm going to grab the Run Crafted. It's a little line font that's really cute that we'll use in this design. So just scroll right down here. Here's Run Crafted. And when you select it, it changes the text to that particular font. Now, we don't want to have text on the font. We need to type happy birthday. So I'm going up in this text box and write happy. Press enter, and I'll say birthday. And when we right click, that will generate the text, or you can also use the tab key. So here's happy birthday. I would like it so the happy is centered over the birthday, and you do that by coming over under the justify option in the properties docker, and we will say center. And now the happy is centered over the birthday. It's a little too large, so we'll just use the bounding box, to make it smaller. We want it to fit right inside of our design right here. You can increase the space between the two rows of text by coming under here, and it's the line spacing. We are going to change the line spacing from 25% to 50%, so it'll be a larger little gap right here. Let me just grab this and make it a little bit smaller. But we can also make this wider right here. This font is actually a little bean font, and I'm going to look at it like this. Notice that there are scissors, so it's going to trim in between each of these letters, and on cardstock we don't need the unnecessary tie-ins and tie-offs in between each letter. So I'm going to come up under, and I'm going to show you, if you don't see the little scissors, it's under View, Commands, and Setting. But there is a setting here that we can remove the connector. So in the trim type, instead of trim, just say never, and now you will have just a quick little jump stitch in between these letters. It will do a tie off on the end letter and on the I, because if there is a little dot above, there's a natural trim right there. I want to increase the height of this H just a little bit. So I'm going to right click and I'm going to say break up text. And when I do it, it turns the letters into objects. So here I can select the H. I'm going to press Q on my keyboard, or it is the path edit. And I'm just going to drag this H right here. I'll do the same with the D. I'll make that a little wider. This H, I can make this taller. So you have the ability to change some of the text if you'd like. So everything looks great and we're ready to get stitching, but with all designs, it's always best to run it through the stitch player. I'm going to turn the grid off. And so you can see the stitching order. Let's also turn off the backdrop. And here is the slow redraw. And I'm going to press it right here. So it's going to do the placement line for the cardstock. It'll stitch that on your stabilizer inside the hoop. And then you can use a little spray adhesive to hold the cardstock down, or some painter's tape. You'll lay the fabric down for this little placemat, as I call it. And then you stitch the tack down line. You'll stop your machine and trim. And then you will lay your fabric down for the little cupcake wrapper, and you'll trim it as well. Then you'll lay the fabric for the first dollop of icing, stitch the tack down, trim it, lay the second dollop of icing, and you'll trim that away. You'll add the cherry on top, trim that fabric, and stitch the stem and the happy birthday message. Of course, you always want to save your working file as a JDX file, so you click on the save icon, name your file, and save it as a JDX. Then you want to save it again as your favorite machine file folder, and I'm saving mine as a DST, and we'll get stitching. I'll show you how to assemble this card right now. You will need some cardstock, some temporary spray adhesive, masking tape, scissors, fabric scraps, and tearaway stabilizer. Stitch your placement line for the cardstock and carefully lay the cardstock over top, matching the placement line using temporary spray adhesive or masking tape. Lay the placement fabric over top, securing with masking tape. Stitch the tack down line and carefully trim close to the edge of the stitching line with a pair of scissors. We will repeat the same process with the cupcake wrapper fabric. Lay it down, stitch in place, trim with your scissors. You will repeat the same process with the icing and the cherry on top, followed by stitching out the happy birthday message. Carefully remove the card from the hoop, trim away the excess stabilizer, and secure the back of the card to the front of the cardstock with a glue stick.
Inner Circle members, don't forget to download your lesson files below. Not a member yet? Join the Inner Circle and get access to exclusive bonuses, hands-on training, and everything you need to master embroidery digitizing. Click the link in the description to get started. Want to keep learning? Check out these tutorials next and take your embroidery skills even further.